So last season with our Montego Bay United side, we technically didn't win the league despite the fact that we won the league. It's weird, I don't still quite understand it. I kind of do understand it, but it's annoying because we won the league by a total of 7 points, but Arnott Gardens actually win the championship because basically you go into the Champions playoff, which we did get to the final of, and we lose 3-1 in extra time. One good thing about this, however, though, is the fact that we have now qualified for the Caribbean Cup, I believe. I'm still not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure we've qualified for the Caribbean Cup because it will be ourselves and Arnott Gardens going into that tournament. A tournament that we have to basically finish in the top 3 if we want to get into the North American Champions League. And ultimately, that kind of has to be the goal. I was going to say early doors. Early doors, it's probably just to get into the North American Champions League. Longer term, maybe after, say, 15 years, it's to win the thing. Even longer term, I don't really know what we want to go for after that. Once we start winning the North American Champions League, we need to then start investing money. We need to start bringing players through our youth team, that sort of thing, and basically turning this team into a bit of a financial powerhouse that can basically, no one can compete with us financially. No one will be able to compete with us financially in Jamaica within about 10 seasons quite comfortably, but we need to make it so nobody can compete with us within North America within about 20 seasons. I hope that's the way we're going. Something that we do need to try and do as well, and it's not necessarily a thing that we have to do, but I want to do it. We obviously want to improve our facilities, so training, youth, junior coaching and youth recruitment. We want to get those all improved, and we also want to make our stadium as big as possible, or the dream scenario, build Stuart Pearce Stadium, where a stadium will be named after me in Football Manager in Jamaica for some reason. Anyway, it is the start of Season 3 financially. We are in absolutely dire straits, but I'm expecting this to be the case for a fair few seasons. We have very little transfer budget. We've got very little wage budget to spend. Not expecting a big summer when it comes to transfers, so we're going to jump forward and find out whether that is actually the case. So on the 5th of September, the transfer window has closed, and we were even less busy than I thought we would be. We brought in literally nobody to the club. We have loaned out a whole bunch of players, as you come to expect now, but we have also managed to sell a player. It is Rodave Murray, he has gone to Waterhouse for a little bit of money, which is obviously quite nice. He wasn't really playing for us because he was kind of our 4th choice striker at this point, so getting £2,300 actually doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it's basically doubled our transfer budget. Oh, but you can clearly see there that we are now nearly £1 million in debt, so yeah, we're just going to be in the red for a fair few seasons. It's fine, it's nothing to worry about. So I was hoping on the 5th of September, it would say that we're in the Caribbean Cup. However, I'm wondering whether we're going to be in next season's Caribbean Cup. Maybe. I don't know. I would have thought it would turn up here by now. So we've got the Jamaican Premier League, we've got the JFF Cup, and that is all we have at the moment. Obviously, it is the 5th of September. The transfer window has closed. The season technically has not started. There is no Caribbean Cup turning up here. I'm starting to think we might not be in the Caribbean Cup. But we should be. Surely we should be. Anyway, just a reminder that we are going for a 4-4-2 wing play with Montego Bay United. It's not the best tactic by any means, but I feel like early days, doesn't really matter what we play because all we're going to be doing is getting the best players into the club, and we can probably play a control possession or even something stupid like a Catenaccio and probably still dominate the league. So we're playing for a 4-4-2 wing play. We are locking in Batchme Joseph on that left-hand side, although arguably probably doesn't need it anymore because he is a natural left midfielder, which is good to see. We are going to jump forward now to around the 1st of January, see how well things go in the first part of the season, and hopefully we are in the Caribbean Cup. It is the 27th of December, 2 days after Christmas in 2027, and we are not in the Caribbean Cup, and I don't really know why, but maybe in Season 4, that's when we'll be in the Caribbean Cup because we've done so well in our Season 2. It might just be it's kind of staggered, okay? That's what needs to happen. You can see, obviously, the JFF Cup, we are into the quarterfinals. And more importantly, in the Jamaican Premier League, we are sat top of the table, currently on an Invincibles run. 9 wins, 3 draws, 0 defeats. Opposite end of the table, however, Dunbar Holden have got 12 defeats out of 12, so they're doing absolutely appallingly. We've drawn 3 times against Mount Pleasant, Waterhouse and Cavalier, and then obviously 9 wins against most teams, in fact, pretty much all teams in the league, including some very big results, three games there where we scored 5 goals, a 4-0, a 3-0, another 3-0 against Arnott Gardens, obviously last season's champions. I think we're doing all right this year. And looking at the squad sorting by goals, we've got a lot of players actually kind of chipping in with goals. So Courtney Allen's got 3, we've got Leo Campbell also with 3, we've got Barry scoring 3, we've also got Jamal Flowers on 3, moving up to Joseph on 5, we've got DeVru on 5, and then in 6 games, Jason Foster has scored 6 goals. He's been very injured, okay? He keeps getting injured by the looks of it. So yeah, Jason Foster, who, I mean, he's been here since the start of the save. He doesn't look too bad, does he? He's not good enough to play for us, realistically, but the fact that he scored 6 and 6 is pretty good. Once again, obviously, it is a transfer window. We've got £3,479 to spend. We do have about £800 a week of a wage budget, so we could bring somebody in on a ridiculously high wage. Like £800 a week is a big wage for us at the moment. We have gone up in kind of money, and I'm not quite sure why. I assume, yeah, so an investment has just come in, basically, so someone's just chucked a whole bunch of money at us for no reason. I assume because our finances were so bad, we were basically just going to disappear off the face of the game if it kept going that way. So just checking, the 2027 Caribbean Cup was actually won by Mount Pleasant FC, obviously of Jamaica, VA United of Jamaica getting to the final as well, and then Cibao FC, who are from the Dominican Republic, were the third team to get through to the North American Champions League. So yeah, we weren't in the 2027 edition, but we should be in the 2028 edition, which gives us the opportunity to qualify for the 2028 North American Champions League as well. Because basically what happens is the Caribbean Cup will be all done and finished by sort of early December, and then the North American Champions League will begin in around March time, I believe, February, March time, because that's when like the MLS and everything like that start. Anyway, it's the 27th December, transfer window is open, we've got money to spend in terms of salary, so let's see what we can do. First things first then, on the 27th of January, looking at our competitions page, the Caribbean Cup has arrived, so it will begin on the 15th of August 2028. So yeah, we do kind of enter it the year after we qualify, which is fine. It makes sense to me now. From a Jamaican Premier League perspective, we are still on an Invincibles run, 42 points on the board, but still only 6 points clear of Boys Town in second place. But we know it doesn't really matter whether we finish top of the table or even down in sixth. We can still be crowned champions. We've also got Dunbarton have picked up 2 points, a 3-3 draw against Cavalier, and a 1-1 draw against second place Boys Town. What is going on? Dunbarton are in a bit of a weird situation. Also, the JFF Cup, we have made it to the semi-final. Portmore United will be our opponents. Mount Pleasant play Boys Town in the other semi-final. What do we do financially? Yep, nothing at all, because we've got money, okay? We have a bit of money to spend, but I don't want to spend it for the sake of spending it. We are top of the table. Let's try and hold on to it and see if we can maybe fix these finances by just not spending money, okay? Sounds ridiculous, but if we don't spend money, maybe we're not just going to hemorrhage money for like 5 or 6 seasons. We did obviously loan out a few players as well, so like I think 2 players in fact. Sean Shetty has gone out on loan to Star Cosmos, and Swabby has gone on loan to Negril FC. So they've not come in yet, but our youth candidates for Season 3 apparently is a good intake, 3.5 star, doesn't sound too amazing, but we do have a C goalkeeper. Everyone else is E's, but our best player is potentially going to be a goalkeeper, which could be handy, because getting in a decent Jamaican goalkeeper might be a really big key part to doing well in this save. Anyway, let's jump forward then to the end of the regular season, see whether we finish top of the table, and then we obviously go into the finals, and then probably lose in the final against, let's say, Humble Lion. Why not? So I joked about Humble Lion beating us in the final. They've managed to climb up from 6th or 5th place in the table to 2nd place. We have lost a few matches. I'm assuming one of them was Humble Lion. Yes, it was Mount Pleasant and Dunbarton. We lost to the team who were bottom of the table. They didn't almost claw themselves out of it, but the fact they were so close to not finishing bottom is weirdly quite impressive. 17 wins, 6 draws, 3 defeats means we do finish top of the table, but we do have to go into the finals, and probably, do we know who we're going to play? So Boys Town play Veer, Cavalier play Arnott Gardens, and then we'll probably play we will play one of the winners of those matches. I feel like we should be good enough to get to the final again. So we do have our youth intake as well. Obviously, it's the 9th of April, so not everyone, in fact, nobody has signed a contract at the moment. The best player is Ian Watson, who doesn't look particularly amazing, but we do need to remember he is 16 years old, and we are currently playing in Jamaica, so we're not going to be getting a Leo Messi, and if we do get a Leo Messi, he's not sticking around. So Watson, he could be good. He's got some reasonable mental numbers there. We were supposed to get a really good goalkeeper, which I assume is Sean McCoy. He does look awful, doesn't he? Let's be honest, he looks awful, but he's got aerial reach, he's got handling, he's got kicking, he's got reflexes. What more do you want from a 15-year-old goalkeeper? There's nobody else really that exciting, by the way, in this list of players, so take my word for it, those are the 2 best players. I will show you, actually, because I don't think I have shown you my head of youth development. I have tried to replace him, but nobody comes close to him for the money that he's paid. He's paid £250 a week, and he's probably maybe the 4th or 5th best head of youth development that we can possibly get. Everyone else who we could join, who would want to join us, want £800, £900 a week, and right now we can't afford to do that financially. So Damien McNeish might be our head of youth development for a fair few seasons to come. Anyway then, so we've won the league, but we haven't won a trophy yet, so we're going to jump forward to find out whether we are going to win our first ever Jamaican Premier League in charge of Montego Bay. First of all, we were runners-up in the JFF Cup final, losing 3-2 against Mount Pleasant FC. That is very frustrating. What is more frustrating is the fact that we got knocked out in the semi-finals, along with Humble Lion of the Jamaican Premier League, and it was won by Arnott Gardens. Arnott Gardens, by the way, were a team that finished in 5th place in the table. They were 16 points behind us. 16 whole points behind us, and they are double back-to-back champions of the league. It's annoying. It's really annoying. The teams who finished in 5th and 6th were in the final. Does this mean we're in the Caribbean Cup for 2029? I hope it means us and Humble Lion get through. I'm worried it might be Arnott Gardens and Veer United. We're going to have to wait and see, I guess, towards the end of next season. Before we get to the end of next season, I just want to point out the goal scorers that we have got. We did get a lot of goals from all over the pitch. A few players to kind of point out. So Jamal Flowers, an 18-year-old striker, getting 6 goals, and he's absolutely garbage, but that's pretty impressive. We've got Joseph scoring 9, getting 7 assists. We've got Nick Daru, which is a good name, scoring 10 goals and 8 assists. Leo Campbell, 21-year-old striker. He's wanted. Who wants Leo Campbell? I'm worried that somebody big. It's Veer United end of his contract. He's out of contract in a month. Probably need to get him a new one, I think. 11 goals and 8 assists. But top goal scorer was Jason Foster, who he seems to have just kind of turned up, hasn't he? He was kind of just... He didn't really play. I mean, he did play. He played most of the time off the bench last season. But then scoring 17 goals this time around. That's pretty good. I have just realised I completely forgot to mention this, by the way. The reason why he's playing, because Jordan Fletcher did not want to sign a new contract, so he actually just got released and hasn't got a new deal anywhere, which is just madness. And Rashid Brown, similar situation, although he's not a striker, he also had his contract expire. And yeah, basically, we were just never really playing that guy. So yeah, that's the reason why, what's his name? Jason Foster managed to get so many opportunities, same as Jamal Flowers. But 18 goals in 22 starts is very good for a 20-year-old who was on loan to another team a couple of seasons ago, and a player who did not score a single goal for us last season. So I guess then at the end of Season 3, it's not particularly good reading for our Montego Bay United side. We are runners-up in the JFF Cup, and we did not win the Jamaican Premier League, despite the fact that we were undefeated for a lot of it, and then we just absolutely ballsed it up. We actually won the league, but didn't win the trophy, but we are in the Caribbean Cup next season, and hopefully we're also in the 2029 Caribbean Cup as well. So then the big news for Season 4 for our Montego Bay United side is the fact that we are in the Caribbean Cup, and we do know who our opponents will be. We have AS Capois, maybe could be the name, from Haiti, who I think might be one of the better sides. We have Pantoja. Again, no idea how any of these are pronounced, so we're just going to go with it and completely ruin all of them. From Dominican Republic, we have TLH Rangers, who are from Trinidad and Tobago. They are actually a professional side, and Violet, who are a semi-professional side from Haiti. So I think, actually, it is ourselves and TLH Rangers who are the only professional sides in the group for us. Arnott Gardens, on the other hand, are in Group A with Saboa FC from Dominican Republic, Defence Force from Trinidad and Tobago. We have Etol Maturi from French Guiana and Quintana from Puerto Rico. So when you look at the past few winners, so the last 5 winners, Dunbeholden, obviously from Jamaica, Arnott Gardens from Jamaica, and Mount Pleasant FC from Jamaica, actually looking at it as well. So Veer United, Waterhouse, and Cavalier, also from Jamaica. Mount Pleasant, Veer, and Cavalier, always from Jamaica. So the chances are we're going to get one, probably 2 teams from Jamaica through to the North American Champions League. So we just need to hope that we can get ourselves to the... Basically, if we can finish 3rd place or just get to the final, we are into the North American Champions League, which could be absolutely massive, not least for the fact that we haven't got any money. So anyway, at the start of the season, obviously, we are in a transfer window. We haven't got to the point where players are going to be released, but I will make sure that I will show you anyone who has been released, because I completely forgot to do it for the last few seasons. So let's jump forward then to someone in September, which I think might be halfway through. In fact, we might be most of the way through the the Caribbean Cup. So the final last year took place on the 12th of December. The semi-final was in... Okay, so we'll be probably through the group stage. I think we might be through most of the group stage at the very least. Well, I was wrong, and so far we've played just one match, and we have lost that one match. It was up against TLH Rangers, the other professional side, obviously from Trinidad and Tobago. Means we are bottom of the table, but we only lost 2-1 away from home, so I don't think it's too bad. What I will say, however, is all of these matches are played at neutral stadiums for some reason. We played in front of 257 people because we were playing in French Guiana. So I assume they have like a host, and that has got 3,000 capacity, but only 257 people turned up. 7,000 capacity there. Why? Why are we playing in French Guiana? I don't understand, because that could seriously kind of, I guess, damage our income. Do we even get any like ticket sales from this? I have no idea. Anyway, on the 3rd of September, the transfer window has obviously opened. What have we done? A lot of players have left on free transfers, actually moving to some clubs. So Deal Shearer, one of them. Craig Bowen has also moved on. Shaven Salmon, great name, has moved over to Mount Pleasant FC. Mario Campbell has moved over to Cavalier. Jamaro Hall has moved over to Dunbar Holden. And Bevan Yee Singh has moved over to Fraser's Whip. 2 players have joined the club, both of them on free transfers, and the start of my plan really begins today. Jermaine Reese is first up, a 20-year-old Jamaican left-back, signed on a free transfer after his contract at Cavalier ran out. I think we've got ourselves a very good left-back there. And signing from SC Leisen in his native Austria, we have Andres Düring, an 18-year-old Austrian striker with 17 finishing. Mentally looks okay, physically looks okay, but this is what we need to do. We are allowed to have 5 non-Jamaican footballers playing for us, and this is the first one that we've decided to bring in from somewhere who arguably... Why would he want to come to Jamaica? I mean, I'm assuming it's a lovely place, but going from Austria to Jamaica sounds like a very strange career move, but this is what Andreas Düring has managed to do. And the big thing as well is it takes 5 years for them to become Jamaican. We are not going to be buying players who are going to be good enough to play for the Austrian national side. Or if we are, we're in a really good position. But if we can get players like Düring, keep him here for 5 years, he might start playing for Jamaica, which is just absolutely like mad to me that that could happen. So I think that kind of has to be a weird goal. I want to get a player who definitely isn't from Jamaica, who has no connection to Jamaica whatsoever, to get caps for Jamaica. And maybe Andreas Düring is that man. I did mention this, that I was going to talk about the players that have been released, so 4 players have gone. Courtney Allen is one of them. He has moved over to Cavalier. I think I mentioned last season, actually, that he needed a new contract, but he didn't manage to sign one. John J. Brown has also left and moved over to Veer United. Had a very good few seasons, but didn't really play for us last time around, so he has moved on. Nicholas Lawrence has also moved on to Treasure Beach, and Ethan Green has moved over to Santos, Jamaica. I should probably know when we change things here, but I can never remember. So I'm just going to show you every time at the start of the season. This is our facilities, so we are still in the same size stadium, I know that much. We've got below average training and youth facilities, average academy coaching, and exceptional youth recruitment, which is kind of, I'm hoping this is going to drag us through a few seasons when we don't have the money, but we hopefully get some really good players come through our youth intakes, and it doesn't really matter that we can't justify buying anybody. We've got some amazing 16-year-old Jamaican right winger who's going to be world class. Anyway, next thing to do then, let's jump forward to around the end of December, start of January, see how well things go, see how well, importantly, things go in the Caribbean Cup. Getting to the final would be amazing because we will be in the North American Champions League. That needs to be a goal early on because I can't imagine we can kind of keep running financially like we are without a bit of North American Champions League money. It is Christmas Day of 2028, and what a Christmas present we have currently got. We are 12 games in, 9 wins, 3 draws, 0 defeats, 30 points on the board, sat at the top of the table, 4 points clear of Waterhouse in second place. We are also through the first round of the JFF Cup, although we're not because we weren't in the first round of the JFF Cup. We're into the quarterfinals, and we've got Portmore United. And I know the thing that you're waiting for, okay? And that is this piece of news. The Caribbean Cup, we win it against Arnett Gardens. Our first time in the Caribbean Cup, we get all the way to the final, picking up the trophy, meaning we qualify for the North American Champions League as well, which will be kicking off in January, I believe. Now, I'm not going to do this for every match, obviously, but we're going to take a look at the goals in this competition. So Dixon with the opening goal for Arnett Gardens. I think it's actually over 2 legs by the looks of it. So we win 4-3, but in the second match is obviously where we win the game. Burton crosses the ball in for us. Joseph's there at the back post. It's a very, very high looping header. Campbell stoops into the back post to make it 1-1. And then on the 76th minute, we score the winning goal. Brooks to Daru, lovely little spin, gets a bit of space for himself, takes a few touches, tucks it underneath the goalkeeper, and we lift the Caribbean Cup for our first time ever, and we enter into the North American Champions League. A North American Champions League, by the way, we technically know who we're going to be playing against. Because we won the Caribbean Cup, we go into the second round. Arnett Gardens are here in the first round. They're up against Herediano, which is a great team name, never heard of them, from Costa Rica. We will go in at the second round, and we will be playing LA Galaxy or Club Atletico San Luis from Mexico. We are definitely going to lose both of those matches, regardless of who we play, so I'm not too fussed by that. I feel like getting LA Galaxy... Now, this is just... In theory, this is how you'd be if you were a businessman. 27,000-seater stadium. We're going to get a cut of that money. Although they play at the SoFi Stadium for the North American Champions League, which is a 70,000-seater stadium. Okay, I want LA Galaxy. Let's just have a quick check of San Luis. So for the North American Champions League, they play at the Azteca at an 81,000. Okay, right. I know it's not going to happen. It's not going to sell out. 81,000 people aren't going to turn up to watch a team from Mexico versus a team from Jamaica in the North American Champions League in the second round. But imagine if they did, and they all paid about 20 quid to get in. We get half of that money in theory. I'd love that. It's not going to happen, so let's not get our hopes up. So yeah, over the last few months, quite a few things have been going on for our Montego Bay United side. It is obviously a transfer window. Financially, it's much of the same, isn't it? We've got £3,000 to spend. We've got about £800 of a wage budget. Our finances have gone up pretty drastically, but most of that actually, if we have a look by this season, we've got a bit of investment. We've got a fair chunk from gate receipts as well, and I think there is probably going to be some prize money that we haven't got. We didn't get prize money for winning the Caribbean Cup. That's madness. But we did get 373,000 from gate receipts from last month. So it looks like we had 16,000 against Arnett Gardens and then 22,000. Where were we playing here? In Jamaica, in the national team stadium. Okay, fair enough. So that's where we got a huge chunk of money. That's good. That's some good money. Anyway, let's jump forward then to the end of the transfer window, see if we can do any business. I think we might need to bring in a couple of players just to strengthen for the North American Champions League. Or we can sell one player to VIA United. We've sold 18-year-old Richard George. He has moved over to VIA United. He did play a few times for us, but they offered a decent-ish sum, £3,800, which sounds like a horrendous amount of money, but, you know, it's money. We do kind of need money, but that is all we've managed to do. We've not brought in anybody new to the club. And the North American Champions League has not started yet, so we still don't know who we're actually going to be playing against. We are in the JFF Cup semi-final. I'd love to win that. I would really love to win that because I feel like we've got close a couple of times, but we just haven't managed to do anything about it. I also obviously want to win the Jamaican Premier League, a competition that we should have won. We should have won this a couple of times now and just haven't. We're currently sat top of the table, 36 points on the board. We have lost twice though, Humble Line and Mount Pleasant, the teams to put some goals past us, but we're still sitting pretty at the top of the table, so it's all good. So I guess the next thing to do then is to jump forward and see how well the North American Champions League goes. Obviously, see where we finish in the table as well. We can take a look at our youth intake. But the big thing is, will be the North American Champions League. Who will we be playing? And will we sell 81,000 tickets? First things first, before we get to the North American Champions League, the Jamaican Premier League has kind of not ended particularly well. But what I'm going to say is, we were distracted by the North American Champions League, I assume. Because right now, I don't know what happened in the North American Champions League. We did finish third, though, in the regular season, but it's fine because we do manage to qualify for the actual finals, where we will be up against Malloyns United in the quarterfinal, which will set up a semi-final against basically Harbourview or Waterhouse. So we should be good enough to still win this, regardless of the fact that we've dropped down to third in the table. We should be good enough to win this. Let's see what happened in the North American Champions League. Well, in a surprise to absolutely nobody, we are not in the semi-final. In fact, we did get knocked out at the first time, but we did manage to beat LA Galaxy. So looking at the first leg, we actually played at their 27,000 capacity stadium, which isn't where we were supposed to play, but fair enough. And we lost that one 3-1, but we did manage to beat them 3-2 in front of 5,157 fans. We need to get that stadium bigger because we're starting to sell this out for regular season matches as well. But look at this form in the league. That is horrendous. What was that? 1, 2, 3 wins. 3 wins over the course of 4 months? That's bad. That's real bad. We have also managed to make it for the JFF Cup final by the looks of it, so Boys Town will be our opponents in that. I want to check the finances. Did this 25,000 seater, or not seater, 25,000 attendance match help our finances? Are we in the black? We are not in the black, but we're not far off. We are certainly not far off. So, this season, gate receipts, £1 million. £1.1 million effectively at that point. So we have doubled our gate receipts from last season just by playing 2 matches in the North American Champions League. That's big. That's real big. We need to do that every year. Right, before we jump to the end of the season, we have had a very good youth intake. I'm not going to go through all of the players. I'm going to show you a couple who I think might get a bit of game time, make a name for themselves. Andrew Ely, I'd get his name right at some point. 15-year-old Jamaican striker, 14 finishing, physically looks pretty good, mentally looks pretty good as well. 5-star potential ability, 1.5-star current ability. I think Ely might get a few bits of game time in the next few seasons. I think he might, well, will he? Because he's obviously going to be behind During, and During's going to be our number 1 striker, or one of our strikers. Is Ely going to get the chance? Somebody who I'm weirdly excited about is Colin Hernandez, and I don't really know why. 5-star potential, 15-year-old Jamaican left winger, but he's also part Trinidad and Tobago, or Trinbagonian. I never know how that's said. I apologise. But yeah, he's come in, and I think he could be special, and I don't really know why. There's just lots of numbers, lots of 8s, loads of 8s. If those bump up by 2, 3, 4, he's gonna look really good. When I say he's going to be really good, he's not going to be Premier League quality. He's probably going to be League One quality when you're talking about English football. But I like Colin Hernandez, okay? I don't know why. We've also got Rishon Bishop, we'll go with that, who's a 16-year-old goalkeeper, 6'4". I love that. He's also got 5 free kick taken. Love that as well. Omar Burke as well, 16-year-old defence midfielder. I do like this, but he will obviously need to be retrained, or we need to change our formation. And finally, Nico Carter, 16-year-old Jamaican right midfielder, which is good because he's naturally a right midfielder, a position that is weirdly difficult to find in Football Manager because most people now are wingers. Nobody plays as a right midfielder. So the fact that Nico Carter can play there might mean he's going to get a lot of football when he arguably shouldn't. Anyway then, one more thing to do for Season 4, and that is to jump to the end of the season. Obviously, we will have the JFF Cup final. We will also have the Jamaican Premier League fixtures as well. We finished 3rd in the table, but can we actually win the title? No, we can't. We lose to Waterhouse in the semi-final. 2-1 after extra time. Really? 2-1 after extra time. A goal in the 112th minute for Waterhouse means that they go through to the final. And it was a final that they did also win as well. So we didn't win the league, and we also didn't get to the final. So I imagine in the 2030 season, we might not be in the Caribbean Cup. Unless the winner of the JFF Cup manages to get a spot in the Caribbean Cup, which certainly could be a possibility. So we managed to beat BTFC. I can't remember who they are, but we've beaten them 2-1 in the end. Opening goal there from, I can't even remember who that was the opening goal. They did pull one back very shortly after 14 minutes. Duncan kicks it into a few different players and then a decent long-range effort there. And then into the second half, we score the winning goal. In fact, into injury time, we score the winning goal. Daru finds Barry at the front post from a corner. A 91st minute winner for us to pick up our first ever JFF Cup trophy win. Now, there is no way of knowing if we've qualified for the Caribbean Cup for not next season, but the season after. We do know we have qualified for it the next season. In Season 5, we will be playing in the Caribbean Cup in 95 days. We know who we will be up against as well. I think that looks very similar to the groups we had last season. So if we jump back, it was the only difference. There was 2 differences. So we have Saboa FC. We also have Violet. I think Defence Force actually weren't in our group either. So no, okay, there's not 2 differences. We've only got this team who were in it last season with us. Before we round out the season then, let's take a look at the goal scorers. We'll come to during last. So Jason Foster is our number one goal scorer, 24 goals. He has improved so quickly in the last couple of seasons. He is unhappy. I assume he wants a new contract. He does want a new contract, which is fair enough. No, he's not. He's unhappy. He wants to leave following a contract when he's concerned. Oh, he wants to leave, and I've triggered an extension. Yes, I remember doing that now. Yeah, so Jason Foster, not too happy with us, but it's fine. We've also got Leo Campbell, who I did lock in on the right midfield, because basically I didn't want him playing as a striker, so Leo Campbell is now being retrained to be a right winger, scoring 13 goals, which is good. And then hopefully the future Jamaican international Andres During managed to get 9 or 10 goals, in fact, in all competitions, one of them in the North American Champions League. He's already improving as well, as 18 finishing now. The fact that he's playing in Jamaica, I love this. He's got 1,520 days left to go before he can get his lovely Jamaican passport, which I assume is like a green, yellow and black passport, which would look absolutely amazing, especially when you've got a name of Andres During written on it. Last player we'll take a look at, he hasn't scored a huge amount of goals, although he did score 9 goals. He did get 12 assists. Batchme Joseph, who we signed in season 1 or 2 on a free transfer, has actually been really good for us. Is he Jamaican yet? I don't think he can be Jamaican. Problem with Joseph, he does take up one of our 5 non-Jamaican slots, which right now is okay, but maybe in a few years' time, if we're qualifying for the North American Champions League regularly, he might get usurped by like a Brazilian that we can find or something. But right now, he's fine. He's 27. If he's still at 30, I'd be very surprised. So for our Montego Bay United side, the last couple of seasons have been a bit strange. We won the league last year, and we didn't win the actual trophy. We finished 3rd this year, and we didn't win the actual trophy. But I would say, massive silver lining. We did win the Caribbean Cup and get into the North American Champions League and almost fix our finances. So I guess that's a bonus.